Hi everyone, it's Rail from Nozzle here. So today I want to talk you through a demo of the self-service version of our customer analytics tool. And so this demo version focuses on kind of two main metrics. The first one being customer acquisition cost, and the second one being customer lifetime value, or profit per customer is another way to look at that. I'm not going to spend too much time on, let's say, the definitions of each of these terms. We have various resources within Nozzle. You can use the help to Google to search for them, and you'll see a whole bunch of content on how to calculate them, how to use them, etc. But I'm just going to give a walkthrough of this user interface so you know what you're looking at. So in the first instance, right at the top here where my mouse is, this is for a coffee customer, a hypothetical coffee customer. And so the first thing is you can view the data at a category level. And so the categories are really up to you to define. As part of the onboarding process, you will say, okay, these 3 ASINs are going to be grouped together and they're going to be called instant coffee, or these 7 ASINs are going to be grouped together and be called ground coffee, for instance. Of course, you're able to look at individual ASINs as well. You can select one or more ASINs, and of course you can customize the time period. So whatever time period you like there. The first table at the top here is the lifetime value for whatever you've selected. So I'm keeping this at a brand level, so i.e. all categories or ASINs. And we have the lifetime value row, and then we have a break-even ACOS row. So the first one is the lifetime value row. And what that is saying is, what is my profit per customer on the first purchase in this example? And so you can see over here, it's £5.37. And after 3 months, that increases the profit per customer, or the lifetime value increases to £7.45, all the way through to 24 months where it's then £10.09. The break-even ACOS is, the point of a break-even ACOS is to say, well, how much, what does my ACOS need to be if I want to break even on, typically on the first purchase? And it's really your pre-advertising margin, right? So how much do I make on a profit per sale before any advertising? And so you can see on the first purchase, it's 37%. But actually, when you account for all the repurchases that happen after that first purchase, after 3 months in this example, you can see that your break-even ACOS jumps to 53%, and actually can kind of jump all the way up, let's say to 12 months, it goes to 72%. And what that is saying is that you can actually, when you're setting up an Amazon advertising campaign, let's keep it to 3 months here, when you're setting up an Amazon advertising campaign, you can actually set an ACOS target of 53% in this case, if you're willing to wait 3 months to break even on that customer. So pretty powerful stuff. If you're accounting for all these repeat purchases, you can be a little bit patient, wait 3 months, but your competitors are not doing this sort of calculation, and so they're typically would be stuck somewhere around the 37% mark, let's say, but actually you're working off 53%. And what that means from a advertising point of view, from a PPC point of view, is you can be more aggressive. You are able to, for instance, target some high volume search terms that typically might be too expensive for you, right? But now some of these category terms can be really, really useful and in play that you can now compete for instance. The next part of this is the cohort chart. And so the cohort chart is effectively a way of looking at your customer base broken up by the time at which they first purchased with you. And so you can do things like, well, my early customers, are they as profitable as my later customers at the same point in time? So let's say after 3 months, maybe my newer customers are more valuable than my older customers, or maybe it's the other way around. And that allows you to, again, think more strategically around, what assumptions of my business is my business built off, and if I'm attracting newer customers that aren't as profitable, then I probably need to address that. So what are each of these tables actually, each of these rows and columns doing here? So cohorts, as we said, this is defined by the first month at which somebody purchased. The R is the retention rate, right? It's basically the percentage of customers in each cohort who purchased more than once. So, you've got 23% of people who first bought in December 19 went on to buy again. And that's sort of hovering in the low 30s, then it comes down again. One thing to notice though is that for newer cohorts, let's take it all the way up to August, September, October 21, that number is going to be typically a lot lower than your older cohorts. It's simply because if someone first bought, let's say in September 21, they have not had very long to purchase again, right? It's only been a few months since they made their first purchase compared to, let's say, the older cohorts who've had, in some cases over a year to go and repeat purchase. So yeah, you need to just read that in context, that if it's a newer cohort, especially a very new cohort, you can't read much into that retention rate simply because they haven't had as much time as the older cohorts to buy again. Total new customers. So again, this is the total number of new customers you gained in a particular month. And this is quite a strict definition. It's somebody that we literally have not seen before. So when you're on board with Nozzle, we can go back 2 years to get every single order in your account. And if we haven't seen this person before, they're going to count as a new customer, and they're going to appear here. Ad spend. So so this is adding up sponsored brand, sponsored product, sponsored display, and per month. Per ASIN, if you're going to select, an individual ASIN up here, for instance. Customer acquisition cost. So this is how much you've paid in advertising to acquire a new customer that month. And it's simply the ad spend number divided by the new to brand number, right? So effectively, I've paid, £3.03 to acquire somebody in August 2020. And you can see how that varies over time. You clearly want to be comparing this customer acquisition cost to the customer lifetime value or the customer profit per customer. And so, for instance, what we're doing here for each of these cohorts is showing you the evolution of that cohort. So in August 2020, I paid £3.03 to acquire a new customer, and on the first purchase, I actually made a profit of £5.11, which basically means I broke even on the first purchase. But if you compare it to something, let's say October 2020, where I paid £6.10 to acquire someone, on my first purchase, I only make £5.13. I had to wait 2 months to break even, i.e. when is the first time that this number in this row is larger than my customer acquisition cost. And so it's always going to be highlighted in green to show you when you're breaking even. So pretty much all the time in this example, you're breaking even on that first purchase. Now, of course, strategically, you can make a deliberate decision to break even a lot later. You can say, okay, I only want to break even, let's say, after 3 months. That means I can be more aggressive. That means my break-even ACoS now is 53%. And if you're hitting your target, they're going to be highlighted in the third month in green. The last chart we have is this one here. And so this is a month-by-month analysis of your customers and your customer acquisition cost. And so what we've done here is separated each of the months. Let's just take a month over here. Let's again go to August 2020. And so for instance, we're saying the green bar chart is going to say, right, how many new customers did I get in August 2020? The blue chart is going to say how many repeat customers bought from me in August 2020. And the black line chart is actually charting your customer acquisition cost. And so you can see for some reason it spiked in October of 2020 and then came back down. And it might be seasonality there. I can see it spiked again, for instance, in October 21. So there must be a reason why it's spiking, a seasonal reason why it's spiking in October 21. But so that's the demo of this. We will be rolling out a whole bunch of new features and new new charts, new data points, things around for retention rate, for instance, going a bit of a deeper dive into all of that. So keen to hear your thoughts. Please, if you have any questions, just use the help button and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks. Bye.